All right, welcome back to the One of None pod. It's been a little bit, but I am one of your hosts, Dr. Andrew Ganong.
I'm one of your other hosts, Dr. Jonah Casella.
And it's been 2 weeks. No, not too long, but
yeah,
it's been a little bit. We apologize for the brief hiatus. Just quick update, some life events happening. Jonah just sealed the deal for the second time. As if the first time wasn't enough.
With the same person, just to preface that.
Yeah. That came off quick. Yeah, with the same person. The lovely, none other than Aubrey, now Casella, whom we love dearly. It was fun. It was a great time. We saw a lot of folks there too. There was a lot of people at that wedding, so it was good to bring everyone back together.
Yeah, we had all the IUP guys, all the rugby guys, some high school friends. It was a good showing for sure.
Yeah, good turnout. So, we are back with another episode today. Unfortunately, not a part of the guest series. This one we're kind of doing on its own, and then we will be back next week with another guest person coming in, and it's a buddy of mine. I'm not going to say much more than he's just a bad A dude, and he's going to bring a lot of cool insight and experiences to the pod. So definitely be on the lookout for next week. It's going to be a good one. But Jonah, you want to talk about dive into what we'll talk about today?
Yeah. So Andrew just finished up 75 hard. We've been talking about this for a while now, obviously, because he's been hammering away for a long time with this. And it was actually really nice because his last day of 75 hard was with me when he came up for the wedding. So we got to do the last full day together, do the cardio, 45-minute walking, and the last gym session together, and then got to celebrate the next day at the wedding. It was perfect. So we're going to talk about your experience with that and kind of go over things. And then got a couple of book recommendations as well, just some things that we've read over the years that we really like, and go from there. Is there anything you want to start with specifically with 75 hard? Like, I think a way to structure it a little bit would be what you thought it was going to be like at the beginning before you started, like your anticipation and what you were thinking it was going to be like and stuff, and maybe even how like you first started with it with your scheduling, and then versus like how it progressed throughout, and then what you ended up learning from it.
Yeah. I mean, I first off was really pleased that it ended when I was with you, because it kind of started that way, that I was like, I texted you on a whim, and I think it was on one of our pods. I was like, I'm just going to do it.
We brought it up on the pod for the first time.
Yeah. And then like, I kind of like spontaneously went into it without much thought. And that's the way that it's intended to be, is like, you don't want to plan out 75 hard around like an easier time in your life. You just want to like go into it no matter what you have going on. And so I was pleased that it ended with you. And it was funny because multiple people at the wedding were like, did you plan it that way? And I was like, no, I didn't. I just decided to do it. And it happened to be that Jonah's wedding was the next day. So yeah, Jonah and I flew to Allentown on that Thursday. So I was up at the crack butt of dawn. That day I was up at the crack butt of dawn and getting a workout in so I can get to Jonah's and not have to worry about doing a bunch of stuff whenever I got back. And then Friday was good. We got some cardio in. I had an acute upper respiratory infection, so it was minimal. We just wrapped up in the cold and went out there and hammered away. And then we ended up getting a good workout in, which was cool because we really just did like this thing called nickels and dimes. and you just go. What do? You just do like 10 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, back to back to back to back to back for X amount of time. So it was cool, full circle moment for me and Jonah to hit that last workout in together. So I was pleased. But to kind of go back to what you were saying regarding the start of it, I don't know what I thought. I mean, you know how we were in college. Like we were pretty structured in our life despite us having fun and stuff. We still maintain that level of like fitness and discipline. So going into it, my worry wasn't actually regarding any of the working out. It was actually the water. And if you timed it, if you did it correctly and like space it out throughout the day, it was completely fine. But that was my biggest hurdle probably because I just tend to move so quickly and like to stop and chug water is really difficult for me. So that was a little bit tricky. But going into it, I don't know. I wasn't really worried about anything. I think I was more worried about the end result not being what I wanted it to be. But I was extremely lean and I have put on some size since I stopped, which has been really nice to be a little bit heavier because I was just not I was really lean. If you looked at the video and saw the video on Instagram, you can see how lean I am at the end. I was like 197 to start, and I finished at one. At one point, I weighed myself like 185 or 183, and I haven't been that since like college.
Mm.
So I was diced up, but I was shredded to the bone. I had like veins in my abs, and like
Yeah,
so
you were definitely very lean after that, which I mean you would expect to be that way. How was like obviously like you said, you know, you had a pretty good routine with going to the gym to begin with, and then you've always eaten pretty clean to begin with. Um, what was it like without the drinking? Like,
easy,
did that really even bother you? I mean, here's the other thing too that kind of um because like I don't know, you didn't really have any issue with that.
dude. Not at all. It was quite easy. Um, which to some that's going to be the hardest part because that's part of their social hour and part of like their like some people use it as a vice to like to talk to people when they go out and stuff for work events. Now I'm not in that type of business where I go out for work a whole lot, but the non-drinking was the easiest part for me actually.
Mm.
It was like one like it was at the beginning of the day. You have an app on your you can download an app, 75 hard app, and it has all your tasks and you have to check them off as you do them. So when I would wake up, I would if I was waking up at 4:30 and got my first workout in, I would go down and just check off the no alcohol and then the no cheat meals because like that's you know me, I've been eating the same way for 10 years. I don't if I don't cheat, I don't cheat. I know I'm not going to do it. It's not there's nothing in my apartment that I'm going to eat that's bad.
Yeah.
So I checked those three things off within the first hour and a half of the day was no
Mhm.
drinking and then no cheat meals. But for some, that's like really challenging, especially if their line of work is going out and socializing with coworkers or future business partners or whatever. So it wasn't hard. And I want to ask you, what was your hardest or what would be your hardest if you once you kind of dive into that?
I think that the the workouts will not be an issue. Um, Once I get on a routine with that, I that won't be that should be fine. I feel like in the reading would be fine because like I just like a lot of times I'll just read during my lunch at work. Um, so like that wouldn't be an issue. I think that the issue would be with the water because I don't drink. I probably drink. I drink such little water. It's disgusting. I maybe drink close to half a gallon, if that. Like probably not even that. Like it's bad. So the water would be an issue. The drinking would be an issue, um, for sure, because I go out for like work dinners. Like I'm going out this Friday. Like I just had my work Christmas party last Friday. The doctors are going to my boss's house for dinner this Friday. Like it's we do that so frequently that that would be one of the harder things to like to have to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to drink or not going to go or something. Um, and then for sure, I think the that would be like second. I think the first hardest thing would be the no cheat meals because food is like my absolute kryptonite. And
That's your
I
vice.
don't eat terribly. Like I eat pretty clean most of the time, but it's like those those weekends or like during the week, like I have like a cookie after dinner or something, and like the weekends, like when we're, maybe we're gonna get breakfast or something, like that would be the stuff that would be really hard would be the food for me.
Yeah.
I think it would take me a few weeks to feel happy with just eating clean all the time. Like I rely so much on food for happiness because to me that means, oh, I get a break. Like food has always been a break for me, like with studying or anything like at work. It's like, okay, finally this is my time, and I put so much happiness into that that I would have to be creative with the food that I ate that was clean and have to like mix it up, or else I think I'd be sad. I think that would be the hardest part for sure. But I feel like the alcohol thing, once I put my mind to like, okay, I'm not drinking, like bottom line, then I think I could get over that pretty quickly and would be actually really really good for me. But the food would be the hardest part. In the water, I'm with you on that. I think trying to chug a gallon of water a day would just be like, it'd be tough. I'd have to take water bottles with me every day to work
Yeah.
in order to do it.
It's well, these are the ones I'm looking. I have one in front of me. Probably 16.9 ounces. A gallon is 128 ounces. So all
Yeah.
I did was I took one of these guys and I filled it up 4 times.
Is it 30? Yeah, 32. That's what mine is too.
Yeah.
I have like the
Yeah.
same thing. Like I'll take
So
one of those to work and I'll put electrolytes in it, and that's what I'll drink at work that day because
yeah.
we don't have like a fountain at work or anything to
Okay.
refill, and so that would be the issue. I would have to just take stuff with me, but I could definitely
Yeah.
do it, and I'm gonna do it. I'm I know that with what I have going on now with the drinking and food around Christmas and stuff, I just I know that I'm not going to be able to avoid it. But after the new year, I'm definitely going to do it because I'm already going to be working out like crazy for the Ironman and stuff.
Shoot, I know. That I totally got roped into that. That's my such a bad trait of mine is I'm such a yes man that like and I want people I've talked to people about this before. Like and this goes along with what we're talking about, but I don't have an addictive personality, but I 100% do at the same time. Like if you tell me to get rid of something, I'll do it in an instant and not think anything of it. But at the same time with my hobbies, I get so addicted to them that it's like I go from 0 to 100 so fast. It's like running for me. I went 10 years without running and then someone's like, let's go run this 15K. I'm like, all right, done. I did 3 runs before my first 15K. And then like within like a month after that, I was running like 10 miles like weekly. And I was like, what's going on? It's just addicting. Like that's the thing is it's so weird for me how I'm addicted to certain like hobbies, but like nothing is I don't have a vice of anything really, which is good.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
like that too. Like
yeah,
Aubrey always jokes about that. Anytime that I'm like picking up something new, she's like, "Oh, great! Now what?"
cricket.
I know,
It's,
literally, yeah. She's like,
I know
Are you
you
kidding
are.
me?" I know I'm terrible with that too. Just get like so into it as well. Like the Ironman stuff, like that's coming up. So I was talking to you about that. Like got my indoor trainer set up, trying to figure out the bike stuff, and like started looking up like getting a baseline for everything. And there's like baseline fitness tests for like the bike and stuff, so that you know like what effort and cadence and power to train off of for different workouts and stuff. There's so much more involved in that than I thought in my mind. And because it's probably because what I did for the marathon was just the most basic thing ever, which was you need to put miles on your legs so that you can just finish. Like the time at that point was like not what I was thinking about. But like this is like the approach to this is way more like scientific in that like I'm actually going to pay attention to my times and incorporate tempo work and stuff. So all the stuff with the bike and the swim training is so new and such a foreign language. And I'm like just diving into the deep end, trying to learn everything beforehand. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, to give people background too, we were at the wedding and we had all of our boys there, and Um, we're just like talking about like, any upcoming things we're doing. And then one of them suggests doing like a half Ironman. And then we're all like, yeah, let's do it. So we're all like diving hard into this stuff. But
So are you doing
um,
the half with us?
yeah, they asked me to do it. I just got to figure out how to get my bike down there. Cause right
I
now,
know. Yeah.
but X and Ty said they'd come down, visit me, take my
He told
bike
me that.
back,
He told me
and
that.
then I could just fly in because the race is in Hershey, right? Or are
Yeah.
we doing
So
the Ohio
or Penn
one?
State.
Okay.
No, Penn
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
doing Penn State, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, who knows what's gonna happen? My eyes are set on Donna right now. I just got bronchitis, funny enough, right after 75 hard. So was supposed to be my first official week of training for the Donna half marathon, which is a big old marathon in Jacksonville every year, and that's in February. So I have a coach for that, but I should have been training this week, but of course not. That's all right. We'll start next week. But um, yeah, I mean, it's just we have all these different hobbies. I swear we pick them up so fast nowadays.
I know. Well, let's get back
But
to talking a little bit more about the 75 hard, and then we'll talk about our book recommendations and everything.
yeah,
So now that you have done 75 hard and you're like back into like your pre 75 hard lifestyle minus you being sick, because obviously if you weren't sick you would be doing your runs in the gym and stuff. What like habits, I mean, a few of those habits you had for so long anyway, but like is there anything that going forward you're going to change because of the 75 hard?
yeah, the reading. I'm gonna get back. I got back into my reading a lot more, so I'm gonna stick with that. Um, so that'll be with me. The drinking the water is going to stick with me because of how important it was during that time, and I realize how you just feel better knowing you're consuming those liquids and that it's good to be doing that. I know I was neglecting it before, so now like knowing that it's doable, you just have to be strategic about your timing and your time management throughout the day. If you're lazy, you're chugging at night. And I did that plenty of times. And it's not fun trying to chug 4 water bottles before bed in like a 10-minute span. So the water is going to stick with me. I won't take the progress pics anymore, obviously, unless I'm really prepping for something. Um, the double workouts I'm not going to be doing. Actually, well, that's a lie. I'll be doing the double workouts, especially with Donna prep. I told myself I wouldn't stop lifting, even with all the running. I'll be running 5 days a week, so I don't want to stop lifting. But with like knowing that it's like I can, if there's a day I don't hit a second workout, I'm not gonna like be upset about it. It's one of those things. But um, yeah, I mean, the funny thing is I fell out of the habits right whenever I stopped 75 hard within like a couple days because I got smacked with you know
I
the
mean,
sickness and travel, and I was with you and stuff, so
the
we were just
wedding
enjoying
and
ourselves. But
yeah, right.
that whole
But that was
first
like
week
that was so
after,
temporary though. I mean, I'm talking
yeah,
about like going forward now.
yeah,
Like you're obviously
yeah,
like you're gonna enjoy like going out to dinner every now and then when like Hannah comes down and like eating a little bit, maybe having some like wine and stuff. I kind of doubt that you're gonna be in a position unless you're like with like us or like a group of friends where you're gonna be like really drinking heavily at this point in the
yeah,
game. I mean, I'm kind of
yeah,
the same now. Like I'm not. I'm rarely drinking heavily. Um, so yeah, probably just like what you would typically expect. You're going to go out, have a dinner, have some wine, maybe a beer or something like that here and there, that sort of thing.
yeah. And in fact, I mean, I had a lot of people reach out after I posted that video of 75 hard saying, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I think it's great. I think by all means everyone should do it. It's 100% doable. You just have to commit to yourself, and that's what people are so scared of. And it's like they let themselves from the beginning let it be an option to like drop out at any time. And the second you let that thought come into your mind, it's game over because Like, man, it's so easy too. It's so easy to be like, I just can't do it tonight. Like, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to fail, and I'll start over and do it at a different time. And then you have the regret of not, finishing it. And I have two of my good friends here in Jacksonville. One of them did it with me, and his girlfriend started it too. And she'll be doing it another time. She ended up stopping, but my boy Evan, he had to restart it like I want to say he restarted like 3 times, but he finished up on Monday. So
Nice.
you know what it was? It was his progress pick. He forgot to take it, and because he didn't have the app like I had, so he didn't set a reminder or anything. And he woke up in a fret, like freaking out, and he realized that he forgot to take it. So it happens though, and it could be something like that like ends it, But it's tough because you do forget those things. Like I've been laying in bed before and I forgot, and then I thankfully before bed I went to go check off my list and I realized I hadn't taken one. But yeah, I mean it's difficult. Like it's a difficult commitment. You're kind of saying, all right, kind of say goodbye to my social life in terms of going out. I went out and drank water, or I don't even know if I did that actually. No, I never went out and drank water, but you can do that, and you can make modifications around it, but it's kind of tough sometimes. So,
You probably save money too.
oh yeah,
Like I'd be curious to like not that you should do this or share this or anything, but maybe like just for your own thought or like entertainment, like look at how much money like you like do like a couple months before, like how much money you spent and then look at the couple months where you were doing 75 hard and just like look and see how much you saved because not going out to eat bad food, you're not drinking, like you're just kind of like living super modestly, like you probably
yeah.
probably saved a
Uh,
little bit of money.
yeah, you're right. I think I've actually thought about that before. The sad part is I traveled. Well, I didn't travel too
Oh,
much. I
that's
traveled a
true.
little bit during it, which that throws a whole other difficulty into it when you're traveling because
Yeah.
I would fly right after work, so I was up at 4 o'clock working out, and then I would do a second workout as a walk during my lunch, and I would actually knock out my reading while walking, which people are like, "How do you do that?" You can do it. It's just the place where I walked was just a park, so it was just a circle. So I just did cardio and read, but I spent a little bit of money traveling during 75 hard for different reasons, so a little bit harder, but yeah, man, I'm excited when you do it, and I honestly am probably gonna do it with you the next time you do it. I don't even care. I mean, I loved it, and honestly, dude, I got locked into my faith a lot more too. I didn't miss a single day of church during 75 hard, except for the weekend of your wedding. But like through that entire thing, I didn't miss
Yeah,
75, or I didn't miss church,
that's
which
awesome.
was wonderful. And I didn't even plan on really doing that. It just happened that way. But it's because I freed up my schedule. I had nothing to do.
Yeah,
It was
I
great.
think that's that's exactly what I'm gonna do once after the holidays. And it's not a New Year's resolution because I think that's stupid, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I actually look really forward to the fact that like not that I wanted the wedding to be over, but now that there was so much planning and everything that it was so time consuming and stressful. Now that that's done and the holidays will be over, going into the new year, I really look forward to not having many obligations for events or anything like that, where I can just dedicate a lot of time for Aubrey and church, and then like just hammering out the fitness stuff. It's going to be actually really freeing, I think.
I'm
I
excited to
look
see your
forward to it.
transformation too, because
I
I know
know. I
you're
was thinking
you're
about
just gonna
that.
be
Yeah,
gnarly.
it's going to be sick. I'm not going to be muscular whatsoever because it's going to be so much cardio stuff. Like I'm just
Yeah,
going to be lean.
be super lean,
Yeah, which is
but
fine.
still, dude. I mean, you're gonna be in the best. I am in the best shape of my life right.
Yeah.
Well, I was. I was still squatting 315. I was running 10 miles at a decently fast pace, and I was able to ride at a decently fast pace for about 30 miles on my bike. So
Yeah.
that was like best probably shape I've been in. I was prepped for a lot. But
Yeah.
enough talking about 75 hard. Should we dive into the books, dude?
Yeah. You want to? Yeah, definitely. Let's do it.
I can, if you want me to start. Do you want to start?
How many books do you have? Two?
I have a couple. I was just
I
the
know.
ones that I've read so far over 75 hard.
Okay. You can go.
Okay, so I 75 hard. You got to read 10 pages a day. So you can get through some books that way. I I've talked about this, so I'm actually going to leave this out. 5 a.m. Club, pretty great book, pretty good book. I'll leave it at that. A lot of cool concepts in there. I've already said enough about that in the previous podcast, so you can go check that out. This book, Your Next Five Moves, Patrick Bet-David. He is I think he came from Iran, and he was a refugee. I think his family came to the United States, and then he built his way up. He's now like, I just watched something on him. He just bought the most expensive crib in Fort Lauderdale, and that's a huge. I mean, it's a flex. It is a flex, but not that that's money's all everything. But really successful guy from having a difficult background. Um, I have a book called That First Word, Insurance. It's about cash-based physical therapy. So for you PT gurus out there, that's a good one for you all to read if you want to hop into that market, because that's going to be me soon, or a couple years down the line. Never Finish, classic, um, super solid one. And then I'm finishing up this one, The Millionaire Master Plan. It's a little confusing. I actually don't like it that much. I won't say a whole lot of bad book reviews, but I'm currently just making my way through that one, and I really want to get it over with. Um, what?
No, it's I have a similar thing. Good.
It's I don't typically give bad book reviews. I'm just trying to get out of it. But I'll finish up with these two that I'm about to dive into. Laws of Human Nature, Robert Greene. I'm really excited about this. Um, Patrick Bet-David, the guy who wrote the book called Your Next Five Moves. If you are trying, he made a really good point. If you're trying to get into anything about sales, business, how humans kind of function and work, and any of that, and you're in the business game, go and buy a book, any book on Amazon that has more than 4 stars and over 300 reviews, and that's going to be your game changer. Go and find books on Amazon. Don't go to your Barnes and Noble or anything like that. Go to Half Price Books for any of y'all that are in Pittsburgh. There's ones in Pittsburgh. I don't know if JC, if there's any by you, but get them cheap. These books are like $15, and then like these are expensive books. They always run deals. And then the Changing World Order is another one I'm about to dive into after I finish The Laws of Human Nature. So um, I could spend ages talking about books, dude, because I've been reading since college, a ton since college. So I have so many great books out there. Um, Go ahead though. I'll let you go next.
Yeah, those sound like good ones. We have a little bit of overlap actually, but this is a short read. Make your bed.
Solid
Um,
one.
this is a really solid book. This is by Admiral William H. McRaven, who was a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. Admiral. He like this book was like I think we reread this in college. I actually might have read it in optometry school, but it's just about how, and we've talked about this before, how the little things that you do can add up and like change your life. And then he kind of pushes it into changing other people's lives and changing the world. Really good one for you trying to develop good habits and good routines. Here's where we get overlap because I got both the Goggins books. I just read these within the past couple of months. Can't Hurt Me in his second book, Never Finished, that Andrew just talked about. I mean, we talk about David Goggins so much on here, and I know he's kind of like a celebrity now, but I mean, his story is really unique and can be very relatable, and he's just a badass.
He
So
is a
love
bad
those
dude.
books. I've had a couple of books, and I actually started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad as the audio version of it probably like 2 months ago. I started doing it in the car, but I felt like with the audiobook I was like half paying attention And with that sort of thing, like I really wanted to understand it. So I have the regular book that I have to read, and then I have another autobiography on another Navy SEAL that I've had sitting here for a while as like a runner up for whenever I want to do like a fun read. But those are my few. And obviously,
Yeah,
we have overlap.
yeah. Goggins is classic. You know what I want to get is I want to get Cameron Haynes' book. It's
Yeah,
called
I haven't read his.
it's called Endure. That's what it's called. It's called Endure. And I think the foreword is by Joe Rogan because they're buddies, they're
Yeah,
homies. But that seems to be a popular one too, if you're in the Goggins space as well. Um, but this one, I realized I just kind of like crushed through those books and just recommended them all without really talking much about them. So circling back on this was my favorite out of the ones I've read so far in the
this is
75
talking
hard.
about your next 5 moves.
Yeah. Your
So
next
for the
five
audio
moves.
listeners,
And it's called, yeah, your next 5 moves, master the art of business strategy. So a lot of, I think, the way that mine has been shifting since I've become a manager is that you have to be foreshadowing, always 5 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead, whatever the case is. You always have to be able to forecast what's coming, to prepare. And my dad gave good advice before. You always want to have, if you're like worried about losing someone on your team, or that something's going to be coming, you always have to be ready to reach out to your, like, a couple people. Always have a couple people on deck. Always have a couple options in your back pocket to be able to prepare for those events that you might be forecasting. And it's the same idea in business, is understanding the forecast and then being able to prepare for that accordingly. And I really like this because it doesn't just apply to, I think he sells insurance, life insurance or something like that. It doesn't have to do with just that. It can be in anything in business. So I tend to hover around like the self improvement slash business finance, just because that's in the season I'm in right now. I'm trying to really develop my business savvy right now. And so I tend to gravitate a little bit more towards those books, but you can't go wrong with the self help stuff like the 5 a.m. Club, the Goggins books, any of those. And I mean, all these guys are pretty well known. Like I said, go on Amazon. Amazon has a great amount of books that are relatively cheap. And go on Goodreads too. Goodreads is an app where you can track everything. JC, I don't know if you have Goodreads, but you should download it.
I do.
Um,
I'm just lazy and don't post on it.
I know. Yeah, I didn't for a while either, but you can track your progress. It tells you what, it has a lot of options on there for books you want to read. It like populates based off of what you enjoy reading, and it gives you suggestions. And then I'll add them to like a queue of things that I want to read so I can circle back to it. Because there's times where I'm looking, I'm like scrolling and I see something and I'm like, oh, that looks like a good book I would read. And then I never remember what it is, but you can actually add it to a list this time. But just some recommendations from us. But that could be a whole episode, to be honest with you, because there's so many that are out there that are solid books. So,
Hmm.
um, but I
Yeah.
don't know, JC,
Well,
if you want to add anything else to that.
no, no, and I think that kind of wraps it up for this episode, where we kind of just got caught up with Andrew on 75 hard and went over that, and that's something that we're gonna do as we go forward and accomplish things. We don't go crazy and celebrate these wild, whatever we accomplish, but it is important to reflect on it and go back and think about it and definitely be proud of that. And you should be proud of that because 75 hard, it's called hard for a reason, and you crushed it. So kudos to you. And I'll be excited whenever I start it and get in that position and we can talk about it again. But we're going to basically be just going over the things that we accomplish. Like once you do the half, Donna, we'll go over that and talk about it, and you'll be talking about some training and stuff for the half Ironman, and I'll probably be doing some other like 5Ks, shorter races, maybe even some half marathons or something like that along the way. But we'll go over those things. So there'll be other episodes like this kind of mixed in. We're mostly going to do a lot of guests speaking because we're really enjoying that now, and we think that holds a lot more value. So no, I think that kind of wraps it up. You have anything else to add?
No, that's it. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Celebrate, obviously we want to celebrate the small and big wins. But yeah, it was good to catch up a little bit about the 75 hard. I was happy to end it with you, but that about wraps it up. So next week, be on the lookout. We have an awesome person coming on. He's a lot more seasoned than Jonah and I are. In life and experiences and all that. So he has a lot of great, experiences to reflect on and talk about. And he just finished the Daytona 100, which was a 100-mile run here in the heat of Jacksonville, which was like 80 degrees this past weekend when it's been like 50. So he's going to be able to talk about that. He has PTSD from running now, he told me. So he we'll maybe see if he wants to do a 12-miler on Saturday, but I don't think so. But that about wraps it up. So thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Take these book recommendations, use them. And we will catch you on the next podcast.
Peace.
Peace.